All right, thanks for tuning in to more NASCAR talk on the Prime Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, Greg DePalma. Joining me, as always, is Eric Smith, racereviewonline.com. And, Eric, we have one more race to go before the final race of the season at Homestead. And we did get a big change as far as the playoff standings were concerned, with Denny Hamlin having some trouble early enough in the race that it really took him from being comfortably in the playoffs to now sweating it out, where it looks like he may need to win at Phoenix. So we could dive deep into that as well, as far as the standings and the playoff points and all of that. We'll preview the race, and I also want to congratulate you on kicking ass in our fantasy team this week.
Thank you. Yeah, Kevin Harvick, my guy, has finally stepped up again. So we'll see if it could keep happening. I'm a little worried this weekend with it, just because Harvick's already in. What incentive does he have to run out and run away with Phoenix like he has in the past? So, but yeah, it definitely switched things around. Harvick enters the favorites category again. Obviously, we're only gonna have 4 leaving Phoenix this weekend, but yeah, Hamlin. It just goes to show you how important playoff points are and stage points, because he said he didn't score any stage points. He gets one bad finish. I mean, he's been in the zone all playoffs, it seems like, and all those top fives, but all that's negated by one bad finish. And not only is he on the outside looking in, he's 20 points back. It's going to be tough to make that much up in one race. Granted, he lost 46 points in a race, so you think he can gain 20 points, but it'll be tough.
Well, I mean, look, nobody expected Hamlin to have an issue, and he did.
No.
So anything's possible. What I do think that hopefully they'll do, and I don't know, look, I'm not going into the point system with a fine-tooth comb, but when Joey Logano has one top 5 in the playoffs, which just happened last week, when he has 2 top 5 since June 30th, when he has no wins since his win at Michigan June 9th, compare that to Denny Hamlin, since Joey Logano's win in Michigan has 12 top 5s and 3 wins, and Denny Hamlin's 20 points behind Joey Logano.
That's been my point all playoffs. Yep, that right there is you got to look. It just seems weird that you've got right now. Let's just face reality. 2 guys are in, Truex and Harvick, because they won. You got 2 guys right now on points, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, that are on the good side. If something happens where Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, somebody else outside of these 8 playoff guys win on Sunday, then we got 2 guys that are going to make it in on points. And right now, those 2 guys haven't won since June 2nd and June 10th. But you got the 4 guys that would be eliminated. They've all won in the playoffs. So those guys have all won races recently. How can you send 4 guys home and let 2 guys get by that haven't won since June? So it's definitely interesting that it just goes to show you how big playoff points are, that you can continue to accumulate, and you keep them and you add to them in each round. So it shows you how much for Kyle Busch and Joey Logano that let's face it, they haven't had terrible playoffs in terms of finishes outside the top 20 or anything like that. But they know, because of the playoff points and just getting top 15s, that's got them by. And everybody else just doesn't have them. I mean, I've got it right here. Kyle Busch right now has got 46 playoff points. You go down to Ryan Blaney, he's got 9. I mean, that just shows you that big difference. That's 35 extra points or 37 extra points that Kyle Busch started off this round ahead of Ryan Blaney. It's just tough to make that many points up, and it gives you a mulligan where somebody like Denny Hamlin, unfortunately, just didn't have it. He has 1 bad finish, and he's 20 points behind. So that's one thing I'd like to see him look at. I don't think it's necessarily fair that you can have guys step up when the playoffs, where the time matters the most, and they're now on the outside looking in. I mean, you got to look at the last just recent winners. Let's just go since the Charlotte Roval. You've had Chase Elliott, you've had Kyle Larson, you've had Ryan Blaney, you've had Denny Hamlin. Those 4 drivers coming into this round are the 4 drivers on the other side looking in right now. How is that fair? But that's the way it is right now, and now those guys all are pretty much facing a must-win Sunday in Phoenix.
So what is the difference between finishing, say, 12th as opposed to finishing 4th? What kind of points are we only? Is it just 1 point per place?
It's 1 point per. Yeah, it's 1 point per place.
There's part of your problem right there.
Yeah,
that's just ridiculous.
I think it needs to be weighed more to the top. I mean,
Yeah,
plus you throw in
absolutely.
stage points. That's what got Logano, and that's what he's done this whole playoffs. He hasn't finished well, but this guy's getting stage
Yeah,
wins,
and that
and
stage point thing is a gimmick too. It's stupid when drivers qualify 15th or 20th and decide, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and gobble up these stage points in the first
yep.
round, and while everybody else is doing it the right way.
And that's been Logano's MO. He's known he hasn't had cars that's going to finish top five race contending. But what he does, he knows, hey, there's 20 stage points on the line each race. If I could win both stages or at least come close. And if you look at his stage points accumulated, I mean, right here, Joey Logano's got 10 stage wins in the whole season, where you got a guy like Denny Hamlin's got five. But Denny Hamlin's also got five race wins, and Joey Logano's got two. So but coming into this weekend, Joey Logano's 20 points ahead
Yeah,
of Denny
that's
Hamlin. It's just, and he just, those stats right there, just playoff points and stage wins are right now, it's holding those guys by. And that's, I know we'll get into our picks. That's why I picked Denny Hamlin this week, because I just feel like water always finds its level. And I feel like he's
sure.
rewarded. He deserves to be in the championship four over Joey Logano. That's for sure. And arguably over his teammate Kyle Busch right now. So I would like to see Denny Hamlin or Ryan Blaney's been running a lot better. Someone like that get a win
Yeah.
and earn their way forward. So I feel like water may find its level this
Well,
weekend.
I got to tell you right now, I believe truly that be, if look, no, Joey Logano is 25-1 in this race. And
Yeah.
I think the reason he's 25-1 is because Vegas believes he doesn't care about winning the race. He's just going to try and get in the top 10. And
Yep.
unless someone outside of the top 3, including Kyle, wins, then he doesn't really have anything to worry about as long as he just goes in and gets another top 10. So that's all he's going to do. He's not going to take any chances. He doesn't care
Yep.
about winning right now. But that's right now. Of course, that could all change if Ryan Blaney or Denny Hamlin, with 100 laps to go, are first and Kyle Busch is second. That
Yes.
changes everything for Joey Logano if he's sitting there like in 7th or 8th place. Now he knows he's got to win, because if one of those guys steals a win, he's got to beat Kyle Busch. So that's why when I took him as the last pick on the board, that's the kind of way I thought about it was, look, I don't really think Joey Logano is going to win the race. He hasn't had a car to win the race since June. But he's really going to have to win the race if that situation occurs. And to tell you the truth, I think it might. I give it a better than 50% chance that's going to be the case.
I agree, because you can look at just even the spring race. I mean, three the four guys that are looking to get their way in, three of them finished in the top six. Hamlin was fifth, Blaney was third, and Larson was sixth. And Joe Gibbs Racing was 1, 2, 5 in the spring race. I mean, we've seen what Kyle Busch has done there. That's Hamlin's teammate. So we know, and Hamlin's a past Phoenix winner. So he's got a chance where he can win this weekend. And we know Kyle Busch could be right there throwing some interference for him. That, I mean, we know that's Joe Gibbs' plan. They would rather have Denny Hamlin win the race and Kyle Busch just finish second or third,
Just
and
ahead of
then they've got
Logano. That's it.
yeah, that's all he needs to do. And Logano, and I fully agree with you. His plan needs to be, he always qualifies well. Stage points. That's all he needs, because he knows in pure speed right now, if it just came down to Phoenix, throw caution, strategy, everything out the window, it's coming to pure speed. One of those Gibbs cars is probably going to win. Logano doesn't hold a chance. He's probably not a top 5 car. I mean, you got to look at his stats at Phoenix recently. Since his win in this race in 2016, 31st, 12th, 19th, 37th, and 10th. He's got 3 top 5s in his last 19 races on the season. That doesn't scream a guy that's going to come out and win this race.
No. And he hasn't run a
So
lap there in his last 4 races.
no, so he's got to play the stage game and try to get as many points accumulated as possible in those first 2 stages, and hope Kyle Busch doesn't, and then hope and pray